Contrary to what we often think, the South Asian community does actually encourage us to think and dream big. In fact, our parents, our grandparents, they've always had these grand plans for us. But traditionally, those big dreams have come with stipulations and borders. You can do anything, like become a doctor, an engineer. You can do big things like become a lawyer. And there's no doubt those are incredibly big and rewarding careers to have. I know we have many of you in our audience tonight, and you're all people of influence and power. But those paths aren't for everyone. From the beginning, my dream wasn't a traditional one. Despite the fact that there are so many South Asians in media now, it was still considered non-traditional, unattainable, and low-paying. But my ability to pursue it started with my parents. Perhaps a bit ahead of the time, they never once questioned what I wanted. They never once spoke of holding me back, even when others told them to. While most people don't know what they want to do for work until later, I had no doubt at an early age. I think I was about 14 when I figured it out. I started working to make it happen every day, doing anything and everything I could to make my dream a reality. When I finally got into school for this career, I had already gotten a leg up, spending countless hours working, volunteering, and networking. But even in those early days, it wasn't easy. Forget the sacrifices I made, the parties I missed. It was the negativity of the people that became difficult to navigate. Over and over again, people told me that I'd never make it. People looked at it as a hobby. Just another woman who wants to get attention, they'd say. The funny thing is, almost all of those people were from our own South Asian community. But somehow I persevered, tuning them out and determined to prove them wrong. It sort of prepared me for what was to come and the need for a thick skin in my line of work. Without it, it's pretty hard to survive. As a woman in the media today, you are scrutinized and scrutinized by the public. Much of the time, it's about something superficial. But within the media, when you're first starting out, you're also often fighting so hard to be heard, put down by other women, and at times, fighting harder for a story than a man who pitches it a couple days later. While I'm at the point in my career where this isn't so true for me anymore, I still see it happening with younger, less experienced journalists. So I work hard each and every day to foster a culture of supporting the young women around me, lifting them up and helping them to get to the next level. I hope we can all strive to do that. No matter the career we're in, there's room for all of us everywhere. And if you're good, you'll succeed. So why put down the competition? The beautiful thing about the media landscape today is there is so much more representation from the South Asian community. But while so many more of us exist in the room, like other industries too, we're not always the decision makers. There are challenges that persist, and the biggest one includes representation of BIPOC and other marginalized communities in the stories we tell. Trying to make people who aren't from our own community understand why a story is important when it doesn't impact them or the majority white people that exist around us can be tough. When Nikki Sharma became the first South Asian woman to be Attorney General in this province, I immediately felt the impact. I felt something in my heart. I knew what this would do for so many women and girls in this province who look like us, and I was proud. But why was I the only one in that newsroom pitching that story? It's a question that I've asked myself a lot over the years, and I'm sure others have too. I feel in my role as host of CBC Vancouver News at 6, I have a lot of work to do as a leader to help those non-BIPOC and the men around me get to a point where they can identify the successes of women and marginalized communities as inspirational and worthy of telling. I feel so privileged to be in that position today, a leadership position in one of the largest newsrooms in Canada. Especially as I think back to how the women before me were held back, the women who didn't even know what dreaming big really was. They didn't have any opportunity to dream big or to think about it. One of the most important things I've learned, though, is to never stop asking for opportunities. Be your own biggest advocate, and don't shy away from knowing your own worth. Don't wait for something to come for you. Go get it yourself. Now, there are probably so many of you in this room today who already know this, who already have huge careers. I've met many of you already today. So as we applaud the successes of each other, let's also work to change the narrative for the rest of our community who are still fighting for those same opportunities, sometimes within their own families. We can't forget about all the women and girls who are still being held back because of their gender, those who are told and expected to take on traditional roles, get married, and cater to the men in their lives. That still exists here in Canada, it still exists in our province, and it's going to take a lot of work to change. So within our own circles, let's keep challenging the patriarchy that exists in our own community. Let's continue to be a room full of cycle breakers so we can allow the next generation to dream big. Thank you.